Hi, I'm Suzanne and I nerd out over art supplies. This week has been a big week. I have made huge progress on organizing my studio. I have moved a lot of furniture. I have redone my lighting. I have unearthed art supplies I haven't seen in a while. It's been like great, but also I am completely exhausted. So basically, what I want to do today is just a mindful abstract watercolor. Go ahead and start activating my paints here. So I don't want to have to think too hard. I was practicing a lot of ink and wash this week in addition to the studio, and practicing, just going straight in with ink, recreating like architectural stuff, or like urban sketching kind of stuff. And the thing is, this is not my forte. It requires a lot of brain power for me still. And so I was practicing it because, we practice the things that we want to get better at, right? But I'm freaking exhausted. So right now I just want to do something abstract. And I'm gonna treat myself. I did not just buy these. I bought this last year and have not opened it yet. This is a perfect sketchbook, and I love these. Cold press watercolor, 300 GSM, 100% cotton. If I'm not mistaken, this is Fabriano Artistico paper, yes, which is my favorite. And a little bit harder to get now. They don't sell it at my local art store anymore, which is irritating, but oh well. Anyway, so time to open it up and enjoy it. And I think I'm going to make this my relaxing, mindful, mindless is really the word I want. Mindless watercolor, where, this is kind of the watercolor equivalent of scribbling. At least that's the plan. And then the book I have here is a book on Rex Ray, the artist. I'm really, really into Rex Ray right now. I mean, I have been since the moment I discovered him, which was really not that long ago, just in the last several years, last few years, sometimes since the pandemic anyway. And I love it. I love every single thing he does. He's mostly known for these collages, but he's just got these forms that they just speak to me. So if you stick with my channel, you're probably going to see a lot more work that is inspired by this. I don't know. I'm really funny about abstract art. Like, a lot of it does absolutely nothing for me, but then some of it just knocks me over. And some of it, I have to really see it in person to enjoy it. I don't believe I've seen any of Rex Ray's work in person, but these just like organic forms and these layers and layers and layers of texture, they just make me so happy. And his large pieces are really, really exciting to me. I mean, there's just so much to see. There's so many layers, right? Because there's all of these shapes, but then each shape is many layers, and each layer is made up of other textures. So, I can just get lost in them. And then all the curves, the way it just leads your eye around and around and deeper and deeper. And I find myself just reinterpreting the pieces every time I see them. Like, is this could be flowers, it could be an amusement park, these could be candles. Like, you know, these sort of necklaces or chains. I don't know. I haven't actually read the book. It probably says what this stuff is supposed to represent. I don't care. I just want to enjoy it and interpret it for myself. Of course, the other thing I love about it is the colors. It is so, so, so colorful. And even though they're not necessarily exactly like the palette that I would choose, I I can't not love that there is a really strong palette here. I debated tonight whether or not I wanted to actually just like work with, you know, like a acrylic gouache and acrylic markers and gel pens and really like just go in with the most saturated stuff I have. But you know, there's really something physically pleasurable about watercolor. So that's what I'm going to do. This is my very favorite piece, by the way. I am in no way going to try and recreate this. This is not a master study that I'm doing. Um, Although that would be super fun. But no, I really love some of his elements here. This sort of, you know, corally thing. These, I want to call them like clouds. And then also this business. And these are all, you know, he repeats many elements throughout this body of work. And I don't know, I just thought I would try a few or sort of as much as I can, right? Like I don't really have a way to sort of like tape off the edge of a circle. But you know what? Let's just screw around. I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm not gonna tape anything off. I'm just gonna go straight in with paint and play. Let's take a look at this book. I obviously just opened it right in front of you, so I have no idea what to expect here. Oh my goodness, it's so thick. Oh, it's so thick, and I love that you can use the first page. Wow. Seven-inch black paper. Well, there's a little printing error. I don't know if you can see that. Oh well. Printing error. Embossing error. All right, let me get some water. I'm also recording my voice live today, which I don't usually do. I hope the sound comes out okay. Editing Suzanne here. So the sound was fine. The problem was me. I sounded like a raving lunatic. I started muttering to myself like someone who'd been living in the woods for 12 years. Anyway, so this is just going to be voiceover, okay? Because seriously, that was so cringe. I couldn't even listen to the whole thing. So I've sped up the footage here because I was very relaxed and really taking my time with this painting. So I've just sped it up 4x. I'm just going to let it play. Um, I don't know if you know this, but editing like art process videos is incredibly time consuming, or at least it is the way that I usually do it, which involves a lot of keyframing to basically zooming in and out and moving around the screen so you can get close-ups of what's going on, but also like cutting out, you know, when my hands are off screen because I'm, you know, rinsing water, what have you. Anyway, it's very time consuming. And this time I thought I would stay within the spirit of the video and just let it play so you can just watch the whole thing. So talking through what's happening here. Obviously, I started with yellow, so I apologize. It was a little difficult to see at first. I started with Hansa Yellow Light and added new Gamboge to just let them, just wetting wet to let it go. And the second coral frond, I don't know. It's just what I'm going to call this shape, okay? There's probably like a name for it because it's definitely worked its way into kind of popular culture. At any rate, it is Daniel Smith Pyrrol Scarlet. And so far, all of those three colors are in Daniel Smith's Essential set of 6, incidentally. Which even though I clearly have a lot more paint, those are still like go-to colors for me. So at any rate, then I did add, I believe it's some core Pyrrol orange, but I'm not totally sure what I added to that more red frond because it does look like it's a little bit opaque. Anyway, pretty fun. So next I'm going to try that circle deal that Rex Ray does, where it's a bunch of circles, but there's kind of a hard edge around a circle. Anyway, I looked for a larger circle to draw just for the sake of the composition, and I could not find my big circle maker. And so anyway, I'm saving you a good 5 minutes worth of muttering about that. Right now, I'm just kind of going in with all of my sort of pink and red violet shades, which are my faves, and dropping in, some other slight colors just to get some interest, just to make them a little not so flat, I guess, not for any particular reason. I'm not exactly following Rex Ray here, right? Because first of all, mathematical precision. He's a graphic designer. And by the way, he passed away in 2015. And I can't believe I didn't know his name before then, although I certainly was aware of like his commercial work. I didn't know who it was. Anyway, but with his collages and so forth, he always has very hard edges. However, every one of his elements is usually patterned. I mean, there are photos of him just surrounded by fodder. So he would make fodder the same way that mixed media journalists do today. So it would, yeah. I mean, I don't do that. Like, that's not my art yet, but I definitely see the appeal. At least I definitely see the appeal of sitting around and making fodder all day. Hey, if anybody are there people out there who like to collage but don't like to make fodder? Because maybe I just need to make fodder and just like put it out in the world and let other people use it. I don't know. Maybe I will just try collage and totally fall in love with it. I don't think I have done any collage since I was a little kid. But I do have actually an idea for a little bit of a project. So look for that soon. Okay, so here I'm going in with Opera Rose. I believe this is Sennelier. And is it too much? Probably. But my reasoning was I could always glaze over it with something else if it ended up looking too bright for the rest of the piece. But spoiler, I end up liking it. So this is one of those things where like I don't exactly know where to stop. I just kind of keep adding circles and trying to make it look not not too regular, By the way, my original pencil line of the outer circle, I don't think I never did actually erase that, but looks like it's really hard to see even on camera here, so that's fine. Now, if you're wondering, do I like have some big plan? And the answer is no. There were four elements in that original photo that I wanted to recreate. One was this like coral thing, although I don't I don't put in all the stripes in the stems that he does, and I certainly could have, I guess, ultimately, but I you know, this is like 4:30 in the morning and I'm really just trying to relax, and I f- yeah, I don't know. I felt like that would be a step too far. So I wanted I wanted those like coral frond things. I wanted to do that circle of circles. And then I want to do one of those sort of clouds of dots. And then I also like his, I don't know, are they stars or moons? But he's got these, it looks like pickup sticks, but again, with a very hard circular border around the side of it. I mean, it's not a border, it's a lack of border, but it's a, I don't, what do you call that when you've got like a perimeter, only it's like an invisible fence? There's got to be a name for that. And I'm going to remember what it is the moment I publish this video and it's too late to change it. So maybe I'll like wake up and then put it in the comments. So here I am going in with Indanthrone blue, just drawing or painting all around it. Now, if I had had a plan, I probably would have approached this whole project differently, but my main goal here was just to freaking relax. I was up that late, not because I had to be, because I was just so keyed up that I couldn't sleep. I couldn't stop thinking about all the little things I needed to be doing. And, it was a heck of a week. There was a lot going on, even besides, trying to make art, dealing with the studio. It was Amazon, their, Prime days, which is, I mean, it's ridiculous, but I find it kind of stressful when I actually think about Prime days. Most years, I don't even think about it. This year, I felt like I needed to just see what the prices were on the, products that I have recommended to date. Um, and sure enough, some things were on sale and some things weren't, and that's how it goes. But I felt stressed out because now I've got this sort of like running list of products that I want to try, and trying to, see what was on sale, what was really worth it, second guessing the idea. I also did buy some um, like filming equipment that I had put off until it was on sale. Actually, I got a tour box, little it's it's like a really, really glorified computer mouse, that is supposed to be helpful for editing. I have not started using it, but I really hope it is helpful for editing because kind of I feel like I'm the slowest editor in the world. and, and boy, would this whole YouTube thing be easier if I could edit quickly. And also, I'm so jealous of the people who have full-time editors on like uh, on their team, you know. Um, but I am not in any kind of position to be paying anybody else. So just FYI, this is a very new channel. I by the way, anytime I mention products or anything that I recommended, I am not sponsored, and I so far have not accepted any kind of brand collab. See, I can't even say the words. I have not accepted any sort of brand collaboration. Oh, incidentally, if you didn't notice, I switched from Indanthrone blue to, I think it's just a cobalt blue, probably M gram. It's sort of like doing a horizontal gradient, kind of. I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to put in a different color. Now, about this blotchiness here, so one of the things I got was a light stand to put up this light that I bought some while ago. And anyway, there is a blazing huge light right in front of me as I'm working, and it was creating the hugest glare on my washes. Not such a big problem with dry and wet, but the wet and wet, these big wet washes, I really couldn't see what they were doing. So, hence the blotchiness. Now, what I've pulled out here are some acrylic markers. I needed some kind of opaque medium to do the next step. So I pulled out, I have acrylic markers in several brands, but I actually pulled out the two cheapest brands that I have here. So these first ones are Artugn. These are the ones with these black barrels, and they are dual-ended, and one of the ends is brush and the other one is a just dot tool, dotting. Now I don't do like dot mandala art or anything, so I've literally never used these dot ends before. So this is sort of fun, sort of interesting. Um, these markers, by the way, I think they were like $12 for 24. They are no longer available. And I don't know that I can really recommend them. I mean, some colors are fine, but some are, you know, not, they're not exactly what you expect. There's a green that I'm going to try here in a bit that I think is like a lime green, but then it comes out sort of avocado green on this paper. So either it's just a badly colored cap, or it's just not very opaque. So anyway, so it started with this kind of very light aqua. Now I'm going with purple. And again, I don't really have a plan here. I also don't have a whole lot of colors, so I'm just trying some different things out. But the idea is this kind of dotted cloud formation. So these are my other cheap acrylic markers. This is Jussart, Jusart. These are actually my favorite acrylic markers. Unlike the other ones, which are cotton core, these are direct ink, or like the tank style marker. So you can see, first of all, how much ink you have. You can see when it's separated and you need to shake it. They are very juicy. Not too juicy. Like I've never had one leak or anything, but they're very juicy. They have really lovely tips. Um, and a thoughtful color range, right? Each color, there's kind of a mid-tone, a dark tone, and a pastel. And they're a joy to use and not very expensive. Now, they are the only direct ink ones that I have used so far. I have just bought Ohuhu, two Ohuhu ones. I think it's oh, wait, I have to look it up. I just got the Nahuku and Kahuku. And can we just like can we just call this what it is? Ohuhu, I mean, I love their products. We all love their products, but they are making this intentionally confusing. I mean, I have watched other YouTubers specifically go over the differences between them, right? Like, and in a collaboration, like, oh, who sent them the markers? They have not sent me anything. They sent them the markers, you know, with talking points, I'm sure. And I watched these videos and I still could not tell you the difference between these lines of markers. So I finally found some information on a Who's website that said, that basically suggested like one of the two sets that I bought, these two direct ink markers. One is more saturated and better for like mixing, I think. And then the other one is has more colors and is better for like rocks and wood and so forth. So I believe, and is more opaque. Um, so what I take that to mean is that one set just has more white pigment in it, uh, just to just to thicken it up. White pigment or chalk or something, you know, some kind of opacifier, which consequently makes them less saturated, makes the colors less saturated. So I think that's what they're saying. It also explains why they would have more colors in that range, because they can make, you know, out of one pigment, they can make any number of colors by just, you know, varying how much of the opacifiers they add. I don't know, I'm making that up. Anywho, I'll see which ones I like. For me, I'm really only working on paper most of the time, although that might change in a minute here. And I I do get really irritated by the kind of chalky finish of some acrylic markers. For example, my I have a set of what, 60 Arrtx markers, and people talk about them all the time, but they're not my favorite. I'll do some sort of comparison here soon, but I don't love them. I find they're kind of dry, they're kind of chalky. The colors don't, like, the color range doesn't make a ton of sense for me, but also it's just irritating that some of my colors arrived dry. Like, come on. Um, I do, however, like the box that they came in. It's the box with sort of the divider, and, you know, so you take off the box and then you've got a stand of markers right there. I dig that. I like that. My new Ohuhu markers, one of them here. Let me see which one this is. I literally just opened it. I haven't even swatched it or nothing. This is the Nahu. Oh my lord. I'm looking right at it and I'm having trouble saying it. Nahuku set of 72 markers. It comes in a nice little like zipper pouch bag thing, you know, where each marker has its own elastic loop inside. And I know people who buy those things and they like to store all their media in that kind of bag. I do think that kind of bag is probably good for travel, but I don't like having to I don't like having to like package my markers every time I use them, like open a loop and put them in, etc. That kind of annoys me, but whatever. All right, so back to the actual art that I'm making here. So again, this is the Just Art direct ink marker. This, I think this is probably the darkest blue tone. And so, okay, it's not dark, but it's plenty saturated. You can see it dries fairly deep. It, you know, I would never accuse it of being a pastel at any rate. And it's very, very opaque, and it just comes out so smoothly. And of course, I know I'm not in any danger of running out of ink because I can see the tank. And if I move the brush kind of too quickly on the page and the ink slows down, it's fine. I just shake it really quick. It just has a really good control mechanism that won't let you accidentally bleed ink all over your page. So what I'm doing here, basically I decided that I really like the watercolor, that modeled watercolor background effect. I like it as an effect, like for that cloud, but I don't really like it as a background, or at least for the most part, I don't. So I'm going over it here, and I don't go the whole way because I kind of want to, I'm not exactly sure how to take one background into the other, and I still really like my Indanthrone blue, so I'm not exactly sure where to start. So I'm just kind of taking it step by step and deciding along each step how I feel about it. But I mean, using these markers, it's kind of addictive. They just have such a smooth flow. Although, at the same time, although they're very pleasurable to use, acrylic marker is just not my favorite finish, right? Like, I love watercolor. So here's what I've got so far. So that in that cloud shape, which now, kind of looks like a ribbon, and I love that effect. Oh, okay, wait, no, I digress. What I'm doing right here is using the Indanthrone blue again over the acrylic marker to see if I can sort of soften that transition, soften that effect at all. And I'm not sure it really worked. Anyway, but as I do that, I just wanted to go back and explain that I also pulled out my gel pens to add dots into that kind of cloud ribbon thing. So I used a yellow neon jelly roll sakura jelly roll moonlight neon yellow gel pen. Oh, that's a mouthful. But yeah, it's funny because those white gel pens, I never have any luck with. Like, I can use them, the first day and that's it. But the 1mm yellow works pretty well. Same with the other neons. So those are kind of my go-to. So here I am using the same pen to create those little, I don't even know what to call it, but because it looks like pickup sticks or straw or something. And I'm just using my little circle template to very quickly scribble those shapes there without having to mask anything off. And it works beautifully, and it's an effective little decoration. I really enjoyed doing this part. And it was also interesting to see how the gel pen showed up so much better on top of the acrylic ink or acrylic paint, whatever, than it did on top of the watercolor. So I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's, just the surface of the acrylic is less porous. So I think in the watercolor side that the paper just probably drank in more of the ink. That's my guess. Anyway, so now that I know how much fun the acrylic, I'm sorry, the gel pens are on this surface, I decide I want to bring out these little pink bubbles more by just outlining them with the neon pink. And this is just because we've got kind of midtones on top of midtones, and I want this pink to be able to compete with that bright, with those bright yellow and orange fronds. And once again, you know, the purpose of all of this wasn't to make any particular kind of artwork. I did not have a specific plan. I just really wanted to do something that was relaxing and have, how shall we say, a no-fail artwork, because I had been doing stuff that's just more difficult for me, you know, some really detailed pictures from life of complicated and highly layered scenes where, you know, spending all my time sort of measuring proportions and trying to come up with strategies for, you know, how to draw things that, you know, were in 15 overlapping layers of objects and so forth. And so I wanted something that I could just feel, you know, the brush or the pen in my hand, feel myself drawing. So, all right, so this is how far I got this day. Then I did take a break, turn off the camera, use the bathroom, have a drink, and then I came back and I did fill in that right-hand side, the background. And here's the final result. The result really wasn't the point of this whole process, and yet I'm really happy with it. It's funny because I was going for Rex Ray, but also I think I like these elements and this particular inspiration piece because to me, it reads sci-fi and it reminds me of Googie. And it's funny because it really reminds me of the Jetsons. And one of the kind of the last sort of loose multimedia piece I did on this channel reminded me of the Flintstones. So we're kind of going full circle. And yet I woke up this morning thinking, oh, there might be more SpongeBob. I'm not sure. SpongeBob isn't like, you know, I'm a little, that's sort of after my time. But yeah, you tell me if this is more SpongeBob. Anyway, I really like this result. I liked working with these elements a lot. And for me, the most fun part is this cloud and using the markers to kind of carve out the negative space around the watercolor. I thought makes the watercolor so much more interesting, especially in the dark areas, like on the right hand side, but also just, you know, that just the shifting blues there, the shifting densities of the dots. I'm really going to have to play some more with that effect because that was a total surprise for me. Certainly not anything that I had planned. So that is my first piece in what I have now decided is going to be my abstract play watercolor sketchbook. I like to dedicate sketchbooks to different themes, so to speak. I don't know. I don't know why. It because I guess because it removes some decisions for me. And anyway, this was fun because I also didn't know when I started this that I was going to be using acrylic markers and gel pens, and having come from a place where I used to be a total purist and, you know, watercolor only, and if you covered up that white, well, you just weren't going to have white in your painting. And now I just I like using whatever's at hand. So, thank you for sticking with me this long. I hope something here inspired you. And if it did, then like and subscribe for more content like this.